At 1740 Eastern Time on June 21st, 2025, a 30,000-pound steel giant filled with explosives plunged through the Iranian night at a blistering 700 miles per hour. In an exact countdown of 43 seconds, the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator will breach 200 feet of reinforced concrete and granite, transforming the Fordow nuclear enrichment facility into the latest crater in Iran's landscape. This facility, buried so profoundly that conventional bombs would scarcely leave a dent, was about to experience an unequivocal demonstration of American precision and power. The journey of this bomb to its fateful destination is an astonishing testament to an impeccably coordinated military operation, unparalleled in over 2 decades. Exactly 18 hours prior to this monumental impact, frenzied activity ensues at Whiteman Air Force Base. Here, under the cover of night, ground crews meticulously prepare one of the most formidable weapons in the U.S. arsenal, the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. With each bomber valued at over $2.1 billion, a figure beyond comprehension, these aircraft embody wealth greater than their literal weight in gold. As the crew chief ticks through the pre-flight checklist, they oversee 14 GBU-57 ordnances meticulously placed on rotary launchers, fuel tanks brimming with 180,000 pounds of JP-8 jet fuel, and the advanced APQ-181 radar systems locked in full stealth mode. At 1 minute past midnight, the first B-2 accelerates down Whitman's 12,400-foot runway. Its 4 General Electric F118 engines, each delivering 17,300 pounds of thrust, whisper into action, lifting the 336,500-pound Colossus silently into the opaque midnight. To elude detection, the pilot maintains a shallow takeoff trajectory, minimizing the infrared trail that even Allied satellites might use to betray their flight. Yet, not all these B-2s aim for IRAN that night. As 7 B-2s stealthily plot an eastern course toward Iran, another contingent sets a divergent path west, toward the expansive Pacific in a deception carefully crafted to ensnare Russian and Chinese satellites. Monitoring westbound movements, they would surmise intentions tied to GUAM, throwing diplomatic and intelligence circles into a chaotic haze, courtesy of this strategic misdirection. As the Atlantic surrenders to their passage, the journey turns arduous. A B-2 could traverse 6,000 nautical miles on internal fuel alone, but with the additional external tanks inducing drag, their range contracts to approximately 4,500 miles. The mathematical challenge becomes apparent. A round trip from Missouri to Iran demands 14,200 nautical miles. The equation fails without in-flight refueling assistance. The first critical refueling engages over the middle Atlantic at 4 a.m. In the ink-black sky, threading a boom into a refueling receptacle is akin to threading a needle in the obscurity of a turbulent closet riding a mechanical bull. As the KC-135 tanker's boom extends, precision becomes paramount. The B-2's pilot holds an unwavering position 30 feet behind and 15 feet below, with no lateral deviation. In this adrenaline-spiked equilibrium, a minor mistake threatens to detour the bomber prematurely homeward, grounding their mission. Exacting precision fills their tank at 1,000 pounds per minute as nervous hands fight the icy sweats above the freezing stratosphere. By 15:30 Eastern Time, after 2 more refueling operations and 15.5 hours of aerial patience, the strike collective nears Iraqi airspace, where the real situation begins to unfold. Out of seemingly nowhere, 4 F-22 Raptors materialize like phantoms. Their APG-77 radars paint a comprehensive picture out to 200 miles, while cloaked in virtual invisibility. Cryptic brevity codes exchange between them. Disco 47, sweet, picture clean, no factor. In clear translation, the airspace remains unchallenged. Escorting B-2 bombers, these Raptors assure air dominance, armed decisively with 6 AMRAAM missiles and 2 Sidewinders each, prepared for any Iranian fighter aspirant daring to rise. They are joined in formation by 8 F-35s. Against 2 squadrons of 5th generation Majesty, any semblance of Iranian aerial resistance seems destined to falter. At precisely 1839 local time, the lead B-2 orchestrates its decisive attack run. The pilot activates the GPS-aided targeting system, conversing with satellites for precision within a mere 5 feet. As the rotary launcher within the forward weapons bay spins to its lethal alignment, the GBU-57 sits poised. Below, Fordow resides beneath 300 feet of mountainous terrain, protected by timeless granite formations. In 60 dying seconds, U.S. military precision will usher usher an indelible change to this geological sentinel. 2 hours earlier, at 1700 Eastern Time, the Silent Waters bore witness to another theater 1,200 miles from Iran's threshold. In the control room of a modern marvel, possibly the USS Georgia, a captain meticulously marks time under an ominous countdown. A vessel of transformation, the Georgia narrates a unique story. Originally an Ohio-class ballistic missile submarine, once housing nuclear-tipped Trident missiles, she now dons the role of SSGN, a guided missile avatar armed with 154 Tomahawk land attack missiles. Each missile carries more potential firepower than an entire carrier strikes cluster of destroyers and cruisers combined. This underwater juggernaut represents the evolutionary zenith, fusing technology from over 4 decades into a $700 million conversion masterpiece. At 1605 Eastern Time, under periscope depth, an ANBPS-1 photonic mast punctures the ocean surface, risking exposure. Yet Iranian focus remains glued on guarded Gulf straits, not combing deeper swathes where the Georgia prowls. With an unmistakable single command, Tomahawks burst from submerged tubes in elemental fury. Each missile thrusts skyward, a cork discharged by pressure, a massive weight igniting. It ascends until propulsion takes reign. Newton's unyielding law counteracts the Georgia's stability as ballast officers adjust to balance depth and momentum. At precisely 1600 Eastern, the first Tomahawk erupts from the ocean, its solid rocket booster exponentially accelerating to 550 miles per hour, swiftly climbing to tactical cruising height. The booster grants way to a Williams F-107 turbofan engine, a compact marvel thrusting the missile into high subsonic velocities. As clockwork ticks forward, 30 missiles chart their vast trajectories, aided by radar altimeters calibrated to tight altitude controls, sometimes soaring at mere whispers above unforgiving terrains. Each missile's journey, a pendulum of satellite-guided precision, aims to precede the impending B-2 strike by a surgical stretch of 127 minutes. This synchrony allows for an advantageous engagement, softening air defenses, multifariously disrupting infrastructure, and ensnaring adversaries in chaos, while Iranian watchers train their vigilance on high-altitude stealth sentinels. The calculated weave of airborne ordnance and craft commence. The Tomahawks sting unsuspecting fortresses from mere breath height, weaving amid landscapes like serpentine ghosts. Back aboard the Georgia, their captain monitors missile trajectories as blue-shifted triangles grace tactical screens, counting down to impact while the submarine retakes the mysterious folds of ocean depths. Unseen, yet incredibly present, disappearing into acoustic cloaks, the Georgia propels her payload into fate's tenure. Above, each missile attains the zenith of historical audacity, aided by intelligence that gives them eyes, not mere delivery arms, transmitting reconnaissance vitalities through the embrace of global networks. Even as the B-2s occupy their skies in orchestrated brilliance, another contingent bursts skyward. At 1600 Eastern Standard Time, a concerted fighter sweep thunders ahead, a coalition of more than 60 aircraft, echoing the grandeur unseen since operations in Iraqi freedom. F-22 Raptors blaze a celestial path at 50,000 feet, succeeding F-35 as holding mid-altitudes at 35,000 feet, followed with formidable dedication by numerous FA-18 Super Hornets, cruising dynamically at 25,000 feet. As a grand finale, EA-18G Growlers chant electronic subterfuge in symphonic swells. Circling further afield, additional FA-18s brace until exigencies necessitate entry, while KC-135 and KC-46 tankers maintain support stations, complemented by an RC-135 rivet joint plane grazing emissions for intelligence. The tactical calculus dominates, where F-35s adopt a laser-sharp air-to-air roll. Armed with 4 AMR-AAM missiles apiece, they transform into discrete electronic sensors. Meanwhile, FA-18 Super Hornets deliver the real air suppression punch, arrayed across squadrons for a potent seed mission. This kestrel of tactical aviation strips enemy radars bare, reducing them to danceable dots on flickering screens. As jamming cacophonies echo, fusing frequencies from VHF and UHF into stereophonic disarray, IRANIAN screens illuminate in elaborate deception. Phantom blips manifest, teasing corridors marring logic into chaos. It's subterfuge born of overwhelming superiority. Meanwhile, each F-22 Raptor holds the aerial aces, scanning for pilots in futile ascents. Ground forces falter under such celestial audacity. By 1732, moments crystallize. An S-300 battery operative Locomotive attempts to breach electromagnetic obfuscation. Their triumphant radar call sign spells an epilogue as 3 coalition fighters snatch resolution. The F-35 identifies through an eagle's eye, transmitting Spectre unseen. The poised wing tags a Super Hornet wagon, who promptly responds with an AGM-88G launch as a Growler undercurrents enhanced distortion. In less than a clockwork tick, an AGS missile dissolves radar, brute force meandering into sparks, digesting a $100 million Air Guardian into a derelict artifact. The squads of Super Hornets work in tactical modes, one designating threats while duos engage decisively. Moving mobile SA-15 units emerge marked under F-35's infrared visions, beckoning Super Hornets to triumphant tackles. Operational and emotional precision leaves the air defense landscape barren as remaining radars cower to silent inertia, the psychological reverberation stealing thunder over mere mechanical collateral. Growlers blanket communication frequencies, every grounded interceptor turned mute across waves. Radials and phone bands syncopate static as military jammers bleed out unintended spillovers. Amid arcane silence, by 1735, a strategic path unfurls before the B-2s as 125 aircraft warplanes create a 50-mile by 200-mile invisible corridor, a testament to coalition might and skill, untouchable against infrared skies. Mission execution reaches transcendent fulfillment. A fractioned hour disrupts Iran's nuclear narrative to ground zero. At 1740 Eastern Standard Time, with the precise rhythm of a symphony, the hangar doors of the lead B-2 swing slightly open, dispensing with assured accuracy the first GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator into the ether. For an infinitesimal temporal glitch, inertia holds it in a celestial ballet at 45,000 feet, an orchestrated physics recital. GPS acquisition aligns as structurally reinforced fin arrays deploy like a well-tuned symphony, and gravity's hand transforms the ordnance into a ferocious projectile. In 43 meticulous heartbeats, that metal behemoth concludes its eventful flight, slamming into the earth beneath, emancipating a localized tremor to the Richter scale's respectful homage, a 2.3 reading. However, the orchestrated might saves its most ferocious swing for the finale. A smart fuse, a countdown alchemist, brews an inferno timing detonation to optimize, once anchoring earth-concealing mines, and then cataclysm as 5,300 pounds of triennial explosive warhead lay siege beneath 180 feet of cloak. A cavernous echo elongates, shaping substrate truths. Pressure ripples through solid stone like primordial wrestling, collapsing landmarks as resistance challenges pound to powder. And yet, this strike holds no single-threaded dominance. Understanding unprecedented redundancy, the operation scripts 11 more knocks, synchronized explosions triggering convergent wave forces. At Fordow's companion Matans, merely 2 GBU-57s dance destructive ballet, not as deeply buried, still potent, tinged with precision a maestro might envy, crucially departing from the depths. Tommies, as operators label them, hurtle towards their climax. Nose cameras engage amidst terminal touch, guiding historical coordinates and perceptions alike to perfect target union. Altimeters caress the geography, enveloping realigned conclusions. In this closing act, defended sites struggle under unexpected air harmonics as Tor M1 therapy deflects before flooded degrade. Tracers confounded, targeting the perplexed pillboxes, sequenced Tomahawks decay them, racing to the finale. In the wake of impact, where missiles intersect fearsome turbines dissipate echoes, the music lingers as remaining facilities shatter under chosen Sentinel threats. Their echo impacts, registering the timeline of 1905 Eastern, redundancy unwoven across effort born from meticulous strategic harmony. As structure succumbs to dysfunction, the aviation armada concedes distance. A successful launch, flight endurance yet to serve. Staple maths report a worthy 180,000 pounds reserved, sufficient for refueling exoneration amid tanker wings. While night transfixed, 3 crucibles herald today's rebirth. A renewed chance, a requiem executed. Electric art measured within 25 minutes. The US military touched upon perpetual thought, an arcane intricate key unfastening 7 historical administration aims. The Andersons' quest for demilitarized denuclearization concluded. Iran's glimmers now flicker, faint burned, preceding dawn's distant horizon. This is Goba Military. Subscribe for more real-time battlefield breakdowns and tactical deep dives.